Ready, and it's 7 o'clock. So, of course, I don't have a gavel, so I guess I'll just hit this desk. I'd like to call the King William County Board of Supervisors meeting of December 28th, 2020 to order. Um, let's see. Olivia, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Miskowski,
Here.
Mr. Hodges,
Present from beautiful downtown West Point.
Mr. Garber,
Here.
Mr. Warren,
Here.
Mr. Greenwood.
Here. Next item we have on the agenda is a moment of silence, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I guess everybody can do that from home. I had to put my flag up so everybody can see. If we'll take a moment of silence, and then we'll move right into Pledge of Allegiance. I guess we can all, if you have a flag, or look at this one. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the
To
flag
the flag of the United States of America,
and to the
to the republic
Which
for which it stands,
one nation.
one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
for all. Next item we have on the agenda is the review and the adoption of the meeting agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'll move approval of the agenda as we have it.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made and properly seconded. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Lawrence?
Mr. Hodges,
Was that me? Aye.
Mr. Garber,
Aye.
Mr. Warren,
Aye.
Mr. Miskowski,
Aye.
Mr. Greenwood.
Aye. Next item we have on the agenda is public comment period. You have a one opportunity of 3 minutes per individual, or 5 minutes if you're speaking for a group on non-public hearing matters. I'd like to call the public comment period open, and we do have a few people on Zoom to wish to speak, and I guess I'll let Travis Wolf tell me which ones, who is up to speak. So let's go. Public comment is now open.
Harry Sue Bancroft has asked to speak.
Hello, can you
Okay.
all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm not certain if you all know, I imagine that you do. I am a candidate for the treasurer of King William for the special election coming up. And I just kind of wanted to get out here and get a face with the name and a voice. I had the privilege of meeting Ed Moran this weekend. I had a meet and greet, and it went fairly well considering it was pretty cold. I was very pleased. I got really good feeling, good feedback. So I plan on having more, and I'm trying to get the word out, but I just wanted you all to at least be able to see me and hear me and know how excited I am about this opportunity. And I take it very, very seriously. I did read the agenda with regard to the audit report. Saw some things that made me open up my eyes. I think I can seriously help. Nothing in there was something that I can't tackle. I felt very confident about that. So I don't want to take up too much time, but I did want to let you all know that I am very interested and I'm very excited. So I welcome this opportunity. So thank you so much for letting me speak.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bancroft. I didn't catch your address. I should have mentioned at the beginning, we were supposed to say what's your address, which district you're in. I didn't catch that to begin with.
Sure. I'm in the 5th district and I'm 8250 West River Road in Alet.
All right. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Who do we have next, Travis?
We have Tom Davidson. 1 second, and I will ask him to unmute. All right, sir.
Thank you, Travis. Chairman Greenwood, Board of Supervisors and staff, my name is Tom Davidson. I'm in the Sweet Hall District. I have conveyed a letter to you and the county administrator. I just want to convey the essence of what that letter is about, and it's to convey my thanks as a small business owner in King William County for the last 20 plus years. I was very grateful for the support that was provided through the CARES Relief Support Grant, and I know that's going to be reported on later today. Tonight. Like many people in March, my business basically went from full speed to zero in just a couple of days. My live training that I conduct for leadership, presentations I give about that subject, my consulting and organization development went very quickly to zero. I decided to try to survive and invested and tried to remake my business, which I have done quite a bit of. And in large part, thanks to this relief effort, which of course at the time I didn't know would be available. I want to thank you for making this available and also for running the program efficiently and diligently, I think, and very well. I know there's a lot of people to thank for that, but I would like to point out a couple of people: Human Resources Manager Juanita McIntyre and Finance Director Natasha Jornaline. From the time I learned about this, from the letter that you all provided to county residents, to very recently, I had opportunities to submit expenses for consideration for reimbursement, and this was a huge help. A little bit goes a long way, and this was a significant amount of support for me. So thank them, thank you. I know that's a team effort, and it starts with good leadership. And so again, I want to thank everyone. And certainly the letter's available to you. I can send it again, put it in chat, or just allow the county administrator to provide it to you into the record, however you see fit. Just a quick story in closing with my 3 minutes. I wanted to tell you I was there at the administrative building to pick up a relief check one day, and I happened to be there also to pay my taxes. So there was a moment in time when I had an envelope that was a relief check in one hand and the receipts from paying my taxes in the other. And I thought that was symbolic of what you're trying to do here and what we did together. So thank you again. I appreciate the time and I appreciate the opportunity to express my thanks personally.
Thank you.
Who's next, Travis?
Those are the only two. Hold on one moment. Ben Shoemaker would like to speak.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Benjamin Shoemaker, and I'm from the 4th District. I didn't want to let this very challenging year end without expressing my appreciation to the Board of Supervisors for your remarkable teamwork this year. It has been very refreshing to hear civilized discussions accompanied by constructive ideas and opinions. So thank you, gentlemen. Also wanted to reflect on the accomplishments that have been made this year by our county administrator and her staff. Despite the challenges of COVID, Ms. Tessanari kept the county offices safe and implemented the required COVID governor mandates. I don't have all the time to list all of the accomplishments that this administrator has done, but most significantly, I want to thank her for addressing the voices of the concerned citizens over the handling of the taxes by initiating external audits on the Commissioner of Revenue's office, as well as the Treasury office. This resulted in many findings, and as a consequence, will implement improved best practices and accounting principles. Governance over fiduciary areas should be a standard to ensure the people's monies are handled with integrity and within governing laws. So thank you, Ms. Tessanari, for making the hard decisions. And as I, a citizen of the 4th District, I appreciate your diligence. Keep up the good work, everyone, and I wish you all Happy New Year's. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,
Mr.
Benjamin.
Shoemaker.
Thanks, Ben.
Anyone else?
Marie Wilson would like to speak. 1 moment.
Okay.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
Marie Wilson, 245 North Moncuen Drive in Aylet. I am the 4th District. Currently, I am the interim treasurer until the special election. I would like to just update the board in regards to the delinquent real estate that was turned over to the Taxing Authority Consulting Services. We have received 2 payments during the month of December. The first one received on December the 17th, and then another one on the 23rd. And I do expect another payment this month or this week. So this consulting service has definitely proved to be helpful in the collection of the past due taxes. And I just wanted to update you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to hear.
Anybody else, Travis?
No, sir, that's all I have.
Okay, seeing no one else to speak in public comment period, I'll close public comment period. Next item we have on the agenda is consent agenda and I guess approval of minutes. And I had a bunch of errors on there that I wanted to throw out there first in case people hadn't caught them already. Looks like Bill and I are still getting mixed up. Everybody's thinking I'm in 1st District and Bill's in 3rd District.
I think you did that, Stephen. I think you did
That's
that.
right. I did that because I want to be in 1st District. Yeah, because West Point's beautiful. Yeah, because I want to
I
be
know
there.
it. I just said that. Thank you.
But we're all King William, and King William is beautiful. So anyway.
Well, somebody took that sign on from me, so I had to come up with
darn
another.
it. Okay.
It's in my district, so.
Oh. Okay. Okay, so anyway, there's lots of errors for Bill and I from District 1 to District 3, so those need to be corrected. I'll just run over them real quick so that it's on record. There's one on page 4, there's one on page 5, there's one on page 21, there's one on 22, there's one on 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 2 on page 30, 2 on page 33, 1 on page 35, 1 on 37, 2 on 38, 1 on 39, and 1 on 40. And also it states on page 21 of 116 that Chairman Hodges held the meeting on when I was absent. And I'm pretty sure that Travis held that meeting, but I want to make sure if y'all remember correctly.
That's
Yeah.
correct. Travis
Got
did.
that. Okay, those are the things I saw. If anybody else had any other corrections? Or I'll accept a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept them as amended.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded. And is there any other discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Lawrence?
Mr. Garber,
Aye.
Mr. Warren,
Aye.
Mr. Miskowski,
Aye.
Mr. Hodges,
Aye.
Mr. Greenwood.
Aye. Next item we have on the agenda is 8 presentations. We have 8A, Resolution 20-62, in recognition of Mrs. Ann G. Porter by Mrs. Ann M. Mitchell, Director of King William County Social Services.
This is going to be different.
Yeah. And I guess we have to unmute them, Travis.
Yes,
sir. 1 second. And I just sent you a request to unmute.
Okay,
There we go.
got it.
Hey.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, board members and our county administrator and everyone who is listening in. It is my extreme pleasure and honor to present this resolution of appreciation for Angie Porter. So let me read that now. Whereas Angie Porter has served as the King William County Children's Services Act clerk from 2002 until 2005. In 2005, Ms. Porter became the first Children's Services Act coordinator within the King William County Department of Social Services, and she continues to serve in that capacity. And whereas Ms. Porter is highly regarded by her peers in the Commonwealth, the Middle Peninsula, and King William County for her knowledge of the Children's Services Act and her longevity in her position. And whereas Angie Porter has been a member of the Central Virginia Partnership for Youth since 2005, and has annually served on the planning committee for the Central Virginia Partnership for Youth vendor fairs. And whereas Ms. Porter has been a faithful advocate for meeting the needs of the families and children of King William County who receive services from the Children's Services Act, and she has sought solutions for those families and children without wanting recognition. And whereas Ms. Porter inspires collaboration and participation, her patience is never ending, and her passion for her work and the children served is evident at all times. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the King William County Board of Supervisors expresses its appreciation to Angie Porter for her valuable contributions to the well-being of the children and families of King William County. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution expressing the sense of this Board of Supervisors on this matter shall be conveyed to Ms. Porter and shall be spread upon the meeting minutes of said Board of Supervisors. Ann Porter is a fabulous Children's Services Coordinator. She's probably served in that position in one locality for the longest term in the Commonwealth. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I don't know how we're going to present the awards. I don't have the award, but I have this little tree, so I'll pretend like I guess we'll present this to Ann, and I guess either Ms. Mitchell or Ms. Tassinari will give you, I guess, your formal award at some point. I guess they will work out the details for you. Congratulations, Ms. Porter. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you, everyone. I do enjoy my work, and I try to do the best I can for the children and families of King William. Thank you.
Thank you. I guess we'll have to try to get together and maybe get some pictures or something for the courier with, or something when we can all get back together in person at the courthouse, maybe at a later date. I hope once this everybody gets vaccinated, I hope. Thank you so much, Ann.
Yes. My pleasure.
Next item we have on the agenda is 8B, which is Resolution 2068, recognizing Mrs. Ann M. Mitchell. And that will be presented by Mr. Stuart Garber, Board of Supervisors, District 4.
Hello, Ann. And it is a great pleasure to be able to award you this. Whereas Ann M. Mitchell has served 39 and a half years in the social services arena, 8 years in the city of Richmond, 1.5 years in King and Queen County, and 31 years with the King William County Department of Social Services. And whereas Ms. Mitchell has served the community in many roles within the Virginia League of Social Services Executives, Middle Peninsula Community Services Board, Quinn Rivers Community Action Program Board of Directors, and Virginia Alliance of Social Work Practitioners. And whereas Ms. Mitchell has served on multiple boards and commissions addressing court improvement programs, Prisoner Reentry Committee, Housing Coalition, Outreach Councils, Bay Aging Advisory Council, Fatherhood Program, Steering Committee, Emergency Ministries, Christmas Wishes, Toys for Tots, Child Welfare Program Review Committee, Opioid Task Force, Habitat for Community, Commission on Sexual Violence, and Child and Family Services Review, to name a few. And whereas Ms. Mitchell has consistently committed whatever time is needed in her role as Director of King William County Social Services Department to promote and protect citizens of the community. And whereas through her dedication to promote broader access for programs and develop a support structure within the community, she has lent her voice and followed her actions into this endeavor. And whereas Ann M. Mitchell is retiring from the King William County Social Services Department as of January 1st, 2021. And the King William Board of Supervisors wishes to convey their appreciation and thanks for her years of service to the community. And now therefore be it resolved that the King William County Board of Supervisors expresses its appreciation to Ann M. Mitchell for her valuable contributions to the well-being of the citizens of King William County. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution expressing the sense of this Board of Supervisors on this matter shall be conveyed to Ms. Ann M. Mitchell and shall be spread upon the minutes of said Board of Supervisors. Thank you so much for all you've done, Ann. You probably do more good work in one day than most people do in a lifetime. And it's been an honor to work with you.
Thank you, Stuart.
And I greatly appreciate you making us all look good.
Thank you,
Ann.
Stuart.
I don't have the award, but hopefully we'll pass you the real award at a later date. Everybody congratulate Ann. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Could I just say a word, please?
Yes,
I'd
ma'am.
like to thank the supervisors, local government, and the community of King William for their support. King William has a fantastic community of individuals who want to help those who need help. And I have seen that throughout the years, and it just gets stronger and stronger. I'd also like to thank my staff. They do a great job, and my board, who's been very supportive, and my family, my two daughters in particular, who have watched me as they grew up. They saw me as a social worker and a director, and as adults, I can see how they have looked at some of what I have done, and they have implemented that in their lives as well. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
And enjoy your retirement.
Thank you. I will.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
And again, hopefully we'll all get together and do something more formal in the courthouse, maybe get pictures and things like that for the courier when we can all get back together. Okay, moving on, we have item 9, old business. Looks like we have the CARES Relief Funds wrap up. Natasha Journalian, Director of Financial Services.
Good evening. Congress
Good evening.
Congress has passed a new relief bill that extends the federal deadline established in the CARES Act. The general information indicated that the December 30th, 2020 deadline established in the CARES Act for incurring expenditures will be extended by 1 year until December 31st, 2021. The Commonwealth of Virginia will apply the extension to local expenditures of CARES funds. This legislation will allow the county additional time to use the funds to meet local needs. Tonight, the updated CARES budget provided factors in the deadline extension. We have increased the budget for all points broadband project to include the remaining $87.5 for the project. In addition, we have increased the budget amount to cover staff for up to 80 cumulative hours of leave for COVID-related absences. The remaining unencumbered amount of the CARES funds currently is at $3,082.12. Are there any questions?
The COVID relief money for the salaries, that's to pay their salary if they get COVID, correct, and have to be out of work?
Actually, we've been covering staff for when they are tested and how long they have to be out.
That was my question, yeah.
But
Okay.
it is up to 80 hours. We're capping that out too. So if someone is out 2 weeks ago and they were tested and they were gone for 2 days, and then, this week they come in contact and they have to be tested again and they have to be out for a few days. Well, it's cumulative though. We don't start from scratch every time. So we're only allowing 80 hours cumulative for the staff.
Okay.
And the 6,000 page bill that's before the Congress as we speak, is that, I don't believe there's any additional CARES type funding. Is anyone aware of any?
At this time, no.
It didn't
I
look
haven't
like it in
heard
this
anything.
country.
No, there's not. And of course, it's been signed now. So not in this round. No additional relief coming to any state or local governments.
In the United States.
Right. And Natasha, would we have to
I'm
meet,
not going to
I
get into
guess,
the difference between the stimulus bill and the appropriations bill, but yeah.
It is. It is. Would you start to say, Mr. Greenwood?
I was just wondering, everything gets pushed back exactly 1 year, so all the deadlines, everything have to be used by the date we had this year for next year and distributed by that time in order to use the funds?
That's correct, yeah. And there are still, as you can see, these are budgeted numbers, they're placeholders. We haven't received all of the invoices as of yet, as of today. So there are still some invoices coming in from some of the items that are listed in this budget. But overall, we are because we were trying to meet that deadline, we're going to be probably by January, mid-January, we will have all the invoices in except for the All Points broadband and, a placeholder for accommodating staff for leave.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have any other questions? Okay. The next item we have on the agenda is 10 new business, 10A, Treasurer's Office Turnover Report. Again, Mrs. Natasha Durnalian, Director of Financial Services.
The Treasurer's turnover audit was completed by Robinson, Farmer & Cox Associates on September 25th, 2020. I've included the audit report in the agenda packet. After reviewing the report, County Finance had several questions for the auditors. Fund 999 is the Treasurer's Fund accountability. This fund should be reconciled by the Treasurer's Office. There are several remaining items in this fund that remain unreconciled. Examples of these items are uncollected real estate prior to 2000, uncollected personal property prior to 2014, uncollected public service, uncollected rollback, uncollected mines and minerals, and uncollected business license.
Natasha, can I interrupt right there? How much does that come to? Do you know?
The report, you have the report with you, it's included in this agenda. You'll notice that there's some things that will net to zero when it all comes down to it in some of those items. The problem is, and as we're getting ready to get into, when these items should have zeroed out, they were not zeroed out. So, where you hit one place, it should have hit the other and washed it, and that's not what has happened. Real estate and personal property is where the biggest number is. For Robinson, Farmers & Cox, Fund 999 General Ledger should be cleaned up. It is RFC's opinion that entries have not been properly posted to the balances over the years for these accounts. Many of the accounts need to be zeroed out. Furthermore, RFC noted that the amounts over 20 years old for real estate and over 5 years old for personal property are not collectible per the Code of Virginia. For the interim treasurer, uncollected is not a cut and dried situation. Bankruptcies need to be factored into real estate uncollectible items and judgments into personal property uncollectible items. Initially, the interim treasurer was going to work with her mentor, the treasurer of Lancaster County, to work on the cleanup of Fund 999. The approach to the cleanup has since changed, and the interim treasurer will await until the elected treasurer takes office for the person to proceed with the reconciliation. Are there any questions?
Mr. Chairman, question?
Yeah.
Natasha, the fact that we can no longer attempt to collect anything over 20 years, don't we have some 30-year properties?
From what I understood from Ms. Wilson is that is not the case, even though that's something that RFC stated, that bankruptcies, it's just not as easy as 20 years old, you can't collect, 5 years old, personal property you can't collect. So it's something the treasurer is going to have to work with. They're going to have to go through each one and identify the situation.
Okay, may we assume then that we'll know what that value, that total value amount will be one of these days when this is all finished?
Yes, I would assume that when the new treasurer comes in, it's probably going to be the first thing on the list. That fund 999, is not as massive as what you would think it would be. If you look at this, the general ledger detail that was printed out and included in the agenda, it looks daunting, but truthfully, it shouldn't look like that. It should, when things zero out, they come off the general ledger. Fund 999 should be relatively easy for someone to look at and just clearly see what is uncollectible, what our checking accounts are, things like that. And right now it's a mess.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, will we have the figure of what we've lost?
Yes, the new treasurer will be able to give you that.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely he or she will definitely be looking at any write-offs and have to talk to the auditor about that.
The personal property, if I'm looking at this right, is that, would that be $223,496.88 that's uncollected?
If you're looking at the notes from the treasurer's schedule, from the auditors, let's see, from the audit report itself.
It would be page 116.
Hold on 1 second.
I'm just trying to understand it myself.
I don't have the agenda pages.
Do you have the line code, Stuart, that you're talking about? She probably has it by 600 dash or whatever. What's your line code?
500-551. No, it might be 500-5600. I can't do it in a straight line here.
Right.
Yeah, it's 500-5600. If you do the math, it looks like that 233,496.88 is the balance of unpaid. But I might not be looking at it correctly.
Yeah, are you looking at the actual exhibit 1 where it lists out all the general ledger numbers?
Yeah, this is just personal property, I would imagine. Uncollected personal property. It could be, I don't know. I don't.
It's 500-5600 is the line item, Natasha.
Do y'all see it?
Yeah.
Because if you do the math from the 7,620,532.95 and subtract the 7,397,3607, you get the 233,496.88. And it looks like, is that what's, I'm thinking that might be the unpaid personal property taxes.
Well, what's supposed to happen is everything above that, above 500-5600 to 500-3735, those, everything in that column should net out is how it's supposed to work to zero.
So the balance is not on this sheet then, correct?
No, it's not, because if
The-
you look at that 7.3, that there's been things, there's issues where things are not offsetting that 5,000-5600. There's issues within the process that the offset to posting to that GL is not working, is not happening.
So is it, in your opinion, is it a whole lot more than that, less, or?
It's probably relatively close,
Mhm.
because even when you look at the audit report and you look at the personal property where she only did 2014 through 2020, you're looking at the 7307 there too. So it's close, but that's, if you look at that, that's what she's saying. The auditors are saying that if you include 2014 through 2020, that's what our uncollected tax is the 7307,607. And that's on page 5 of the auditor's report.
Okay.
And see, that's where I was kind of looking at things going, this isn't making sense though, because I can look at the general ledger and see that there's a lot more years on here than from, past 2014 where we have a similar number. So that's where the questions came in on my end.
Mr. Chair, if we anticipate more information by the work session in January, may we ask for a refresh on this information?
Yes, I would think so, but I don't know if, like I said, if it's not going to happen until the new treasurer takes hold. I don't know if we're going to, I might be able to get Natasha and Marie to work on something. What kind of new information do you want?
No, if there isn't, I assume this is going to be a continuing work towards this. If not, just state so. But if there's any
It
new
sounded
information in the next 2 weeks, sure like to hear an update.
Right. It sounded like she said that there wasn't going to be anything else happening until the new treasurer takes office.
Yeah.
And currently, right now, with the implementation of the financial software, finance does not have the additional time to get into having to review something as a reconciliation. We're having our own reconciling items that we're dealing with 2 systems running and importing information. Where we are running 2 separate systems, we don't have the manpower to do something like that right now.
But the new systems are going to eliminate that issue?
Systems, because the treasurer's module has not gone live yet, we want to come over clean. So we're hoping that before March, that the treasurer will have time to go ahead and get in here and figure out what's going on with it.
Okay.
So I know you said some accounts have to be zeroed out. What is the process of that?
It's really just kind of going in there and trying to find out why didn't it, and then finding where did it hit that it shouldn't have hit, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Puzzle, definitely a puzzle. This is really the outside edges for the new treasurer to come in and fill in the inside.
But the bottom line on that, Natasha, we're not going to get any of those funds either way, correct?
That's correct.
That's what I thought.
Anybody else? Okay. Seeing no one else, well, thank you, Natasha.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Next item we have on the agenda is 10B, draft 2021 bylaws. I'm Ms. Bobby Tassinari, County Administrator.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The draft document that you have in your packet is the actual adopted bylaws from January 2020, a year ago. And so what I would like to request you to do is to review the bylaws and basically communicate amongst yourselves. If you have revisions or edits or additions that you would like to bring them forward, either before the January 11th board meeting notifying Olivia Lawrence, or bring them forward at the January 11th meeting. And we will make sure that we incorporate the consensus of the board into any revisions. But that is all that is on that topic tonight.
Do we need to look at maybe revising the electronic participation at all? Are we going to be continually covered by the COVID state of emergency?
I'll go ahead and play attorney real quick, but Andrew can correct me if out of line. As long as the emergency order is in effect, we're covered to do the meetings in this fashion. Otherwise, the electronic meetings portion of it is straight out of state code. And we don't have any leeway to really change that one way or another. We can either have it or we can not have it. We've chosen to have it. And since we have, we've got to mirror state code precisely in that language.
Okay.
And Travis said it, I know which one you're talking about when we vote for a person to come in electronically.
Precisely. If we were not currently under the COVID restrictions, how we would be doing that with, the people voting on somebody coming in, the restrictions on how often you could use it, the purpose for which you could use it, et cetera. Now, again, as long as we're covered, as long as the emergency order is in effect, it's carte blanche on doing this, to carry on essential functions of government, which we've been doing. But once this executive order comes to an end, which I know we all hope that is as soon as possible, then we'll be back on to the policy as it is in the bylaws, which is derived from state code.
It really doesn't look like very soon. That's a bad part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least 6 more months, I'd guess.
We can.
Right. Yeah, I wanted to bring up for all y'all's thoughts, just to think about till the next one. Like we mentioned, I don't know, some of you may not have been online when I asked Andrew the question about section 1 in the meetings, where it says when and where regular meetings are to be held. It specifically says time and place of regular meetings of the Board of Supervisors shall be established at each annual regular meeting. Shall be called or created to order at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Daylight Savings Time in the boardroom of the County Administration Building on the 4th Monday of each month, and at other such dates, times, and places as may be set by the board at its annual meeting. But as you all know, we're doing it, or we are thinking about it now, but as Andrew said, we can still think of tentatively accepting this schedule and maybe re-accepting it at our annual meeting, which is the first meeting. But I wanted to know whether we should maybe add something in here, because this says always used to be our regular meeting was always the 4th Monday of every month, but we have moved it to the 2nd Monday of every month as a work session. And I was wondering, do we need to put something specifically in the bylaws, since we are now seem to be having 2 meetings a month? Should we put something formally in there about the 2 meetings a month, since our first meeting is really the 2nd Monday? But that's what I was trying to figure out from Andrew. We really can't push anything to the year before, because on years of election years, if some of us are not reelected, it wouldn't be fair for us to set the meeting schedule for a board that's coming into effect that would change. But I did want to know if we should maybe change it to put, if we're going to continue having 2 meetings every month, should we put that in our bylaws from now on and state 2nd and 4th Mondays? And then that would make it the 2nd Monday of the month would be the first meeting, which would tentatively be our annual meeting. Just something to think about for our next meeting.
First meeting of the year is our annual meeting, no matter when that occurs.
Right.
The way that it's set out. So it's been, that first work session since we've been doing that on a regular basis. As far as the rest of it goes, I don't know if Andrew maybe thinks we could just put language in here to say that it will be established. Do we need that 4th Monday spelled out in the bylaws, or can we just merely say that they'll establish the time and the date? Because to Stephen's point, the annual meeting, takes place on generally the 2nd Monday in January at this point in time. So
right.
Is that language even necessary? And Andrew directly. You're muted. still muted.
I got it.
And
Okay, now we're unmuted. Thank you.
Gotcha now.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah.
yes,
Okay, great. Yeah, I mean, I think you could drop back to just having the bylaws say that you're going to set the schedule at the annual meeting and not specify, you know, the dates and times in the bylaws. Certainly the calendar is adopted at your annual organizational meeting. As far as the 2 meetings versus 1 meeting, it typically, if there is a work session at your first meeting instead of your second meeting, you'll have your organizational meeting then. Call to order, elect the chairman, etc., the usual things, adopt the calendar for the year, and then just go into your work session after you've already organized. That would be my advice, is to have your organizational meeting, sort of the mandatory handful of things that need to happen at that meeting at the very beginning of your work session. Another option is to switch your regular meeting and your work session during the first month, but I don't see a reason to do that.
Could we maybe just have it to where to say that the annual meeting will be held on the second Monday of January, and then at that meeting the board will adopt a schedule for the remainder of the year?
That'd be fine.
Okay, because that way you don't run into the problem of say all 5 new board members are in there and
exactly.
have that date established, which I could see create some headache. So if we went with that language to just basically spell it, the annual meeting will occur at that date, at which point the calendar will be set, and just strike the language that is currently in there, the 4th Monday of each month, but then leave the rest of it in place.
Right. That's what I like too. That's
I'll hack it up and I'll send a draft over what I'm thinking.
Because unfortunately, a lot of things haven't been followed in bylaws, and I'm wanting us to get back to at least trying to be, at least with our organization, to be more like in line with what we should be doing, or what we say we should be doing, rather than, like you said, it's just so vague here. And to me, it states right there that we should wait till the 4th Monday of the month to have it. So I like what Travis says, set it for the 2nd Monday of the year, and then we determine the rest of the meetings from then on, say what, and then they can be board meetings, workshops, whatever. So you'll do that, Travis?
Some draft language together and send it over this week, and make sure that that's what everybody has in mind.
Okay, sounds good. Anybody else have any questions on that? Like I said, look through it. Let's see what you see. If you have any other corrections or additions you want to do, bring it to our organizational work session on the 11th. So, and I guess we'll move right into the second part of that, the 10C, which is the draft meeting schedule, which is Ms. Tessanier again. I guess you all see it. She included the schedule, state holidays, and the tentative schedule. And I did want to make a note, there already is one error on that also. The regular meeting is not January the 18th because that's a holiday. It is the 25th, and the 25th is the 4th Monday. So I think that was just a typo. So the work session will be the 11th, which will be our organizational meeting, which will decide the bylaws and this formally approve this meeting schedule. Do we want to go ahead and tentatively look at the question marks at the last 2 months now, or do we want to wait till the next meeting? She has on November, we've got the VACO work session, throws that off. So the, looks like the October 4th to the 18th for the work session, or the 18th to the 25th. And then November, she's moved it to the 15th because the 8th is VACO. But if we want to keep it in order, it looks like it's about every 2 weeks if we've selected. That's what I didn't know. If we want to push whichever day we pick for the work session, it's going to be a week after our last meeting or a week before our next meeting. Do we just want to leave that one off? Think about it. Push it, like I said, closer to the week of the month before or to the month after? Does anybody have any comments or suggestions?
Not right now. Let me just kind of look over the schedule in general for the coming year, and I'll send some ideas out if you know, make sure that everybody is on the same page and able to be there. I think able to be there is the most important part, obviously.
Right, right. Everything else falls pretty much even. And like I said, if we kept the 15th and the 29th for November, that makes everything a 2-week period all the way through, except for the October month. The October month would be the only one in question. If we keep, like you said, if we kept the regular meeting on the 25th, that would be our fourth Monday for people that would normally schedule or think about the fourth Monday as a regular meeting. And then we could either decide to do the 4th or the 18th for the work session or just delete it. So just think that those are the sort of the only options. So think about that. So we don't want to do anything right now except say that we're going to have our organizational meeting and our first work session on January the 11th so that we'll know to meet up then. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody look at your schedules and your calendars, and Travis will come up with something. I guess I'll work with you and, like I said, go over those few things. Like I said, it's not too much different from what it says. All right,
Gentlemen, I would be an advocate for is more school board meetings, perhaps 2 per year. And I don't see any scheduled planning sessions. Are these just, is it abnormal? Is it normal?
This is normal. This is just the Board of Supervisors schedule. All the school board and anything else is extra. These are just the ones with budget that we have to do our schedule for every year. We can have any other scheduled meetings or unscheduled meetings with the school board or planning commission or BZA or any of those, but these are just our regular board meetings and work sessions for the Board of Supervisors and the 2 meetings that have to deal with school board with the budget.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Okay, seeing no other discussion, I guess we can move on to 11, which is administrative matters from our county administrator, Ms. Tassinari.
Mr. Chairman, members, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to step back and make a comment about the turnover audit. This gentleman, I was a little concerned that she was going to step up and offer to provide more assistance on this, but the reality is our directors take on Herculean task and do a great job. But finance right now is overwhelmed. As Ms. Derlin stated, she and her team are implementing a financial software. They're also assisting with the appraisal software implementation and finishing up the CAFR, dealing with the CARES, and dealing with daily business as well. So I do appreciate that she stepped back and made the statement that the newly elected treasurer should be the one that has the opportunity to sit down and look at what state the books are in, the processes and procedures, and then to make the determination as to how he or she is going to handle it and allow that to bring it to the board. That way she or he can be building the relationship with the Board of Supervisors, which is what I think all of you want. So this would be a very good opportunity for that individual to be able to showcase their skill set and their accomplishments and provide you more detailed information that they will stand behind. And of course, the interim treasurer is doing an excellent job, but she has a very busy office to maintain. And so I would prefer not to put additional responsibilities on her as well. Instead, we'll just let the poor elected individual come February 2nd assume all of these responsibilities. Getting back to the board information, what you have in here is the mid-year report that you receive generally, and it's citing what revenues have been collected and what expenditures have been pass-through. It's on all funds, not only the general fund, but all funds. And as of the 18th of December, we have collected 58% of the projected revenues for this fiscal year. Our expenditures are at about 39%. So we're in good standing. 58% sounds high, but at this time of year, since 2 times during the year, which is June and December, those are the points of time where we collect most of our revenue because that's when real property is due. So it kind of bloats the budget, but it does take care of us through the leaner months of January, February, and March. You also have the animal shelter report. They are doing an amazing job. They have been receiving excellent donations this year. A lot of it is due to just the reputation, but it's also due to the publicity they received from all of the seizures over the last 18 to 24 months and how they handled that. You also have a report from VIPSA on the recycling and trash collection. They are doing an excellent job as well. They have had some issues with some of the machinery. They are addressing it as quickly as possible. Also, the maintenance building that they have been building and waiting many, many years to build that we are contributing to annually for the next 3 years, I believe, is complete. They have moved in. They do have a little bit left to do on refurbishing the interior, but otherwise they are actually in a building where they can shut the doors and have heat and air conditioning when they work on their vehicles, which is a dramatic improvement from what they have had in past years. But that is all that is in the board information packet. Do you have any questions?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Moore.
Ms. Tessner, we talked a few months ago about trying to put back the VIPSA days that were taken away, I believe, in, was it 2018, 2019 timeframe? Any updates on that by chance?
I have talked to David Magnet, the director of VIPSA, about that, and they are willing to add the days back. Of course, the annual cost will go up, but I know that we've had a lot of complaints since those days were deleted. He is ready and willing to provide us numbers as part of the new budget process, if that is something that y'all are interested in.
I just wonder if additional days would alleviate the majority of the complaints. I know up here at the Epworth station that I think there's the 3 days, I believe, that's down per week is just, it's an inconvenience, number one, but just wonder if it would alleviate and what that costs. It would be interesting to find out what the cost would be.
Well, I'll definitely talk to him again and get those numbers and send it out to all of the boards so that you can have time to review it.
Sure, thank you.
Ms. Tessner, on that same topic, I mean, I hate to bring this up, but when we reallocated the money that we stopped from them, I was under the impression that we were going to go back to normal. That's why we reallocated the money back to them. But if that wasn't the case, I don't know why they're not already open back up for the days we shut. They only shut it down because we cut their funds, but then we reallocated the money this year, bring them back up to what we had cut for those days cut. So why weren't the days reinstated at that time?
Mr. Greenwood, I don't think that's what we did. I think we went ahead and we reinstated some money that we were going to withhold this year for the staff increases, which is essentially what we did last time, which is where they cut the days back because they decided it was more important to give their staff an increase at that point in time. So we never did get back the money that we took that led back, to them cutting back days. I definitely support getting days back. I fought that tooth and nail and then had to work out a deal where I didn't end up losing 2 days out of my service district because it wasn't even my idea to cut it.
I remember that. Okay. I didn't know.
Yes, that was fun, wasn't it?
Okay.
So yeah, I'd definitely like to see what it would take to restore those days because we lost one from the landfill site in the 2nd district and we lost one from Epworth in the 5th district. Obviously, with people being at home, this is becoming a bigger and bigger issue, with refuse piling up and being able to get it handled. So I would definitely support having that conversation with VIPS about getting those days back and seeing if we could fit that in to FY 22.
And Travis, I don't know whether you went by VFW, but Amazon tore us up this year with everybody being at home because it was outside the boxes, on the ground. It was everywhere.
Yeah, mine were in that pile.
If I could speak, the additional funding that we have been giving this, starting this year and for the next 4 years, was our contribution to the maintenance building.
Oh, okay.
So that will end after 2025, I believe. But that was our contribution, as it was with many of the other localities that participated.
Our contract with them only runs through 2023, correct?
I believe so, 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I
and also-
anticipate that they will probably be coming to speak to the board sometime over the next 6 to 8 months to talk about beginning the renegotiation. And since it's a regional, they'll probably be doing the same with all localities, board of supervisors.
Mm-hmm. And on the same similar subject, Ms. Tessner, I hate to bring this back up again, but I know we talked, and it was previous plan directors, and you had discussed some things you talked to me about. Speaking the same thing with Mr. Hodges was saying about West Point's facilities, the one in Central Garage, which is kind of a major one for the county. It's centrally located. It's right on 30. It's becoming a vehicle hazard. Like Mr. Hodges said, the line was backed onto 30 the last few days because of all the Christmas boxes, and people do not slow down. They don't go the speed limit to begin with. They were flying by people trying to get in and out of that entrance that are parked on the curb in the ditch, trying to get in there. And I know we talked about, we got the extra 10 acres of land, but I was told different stories. The land was available, the land wasn't available. Now it's on a landfill. It can't be used, but the whole city of Richmond was built on a landfill. So I don't know why we can't work something out to put some kind of pilings in there to hold up a few dumpsters, to put in a circular drive of some sort. I mean, I know it might be expensive, but there's gonna be an accident there, and it would really help. The one up at Travis is that's where my mom lives, and that's works so well. You can just drive in, you go up the ramp around the boxes, and you come back out a circle. It works real well. I don't know if we could maybe get some more land, but I just we can't. I mean, I know it's expensive. I mean, but I know you said right.
Mr. Chairman, what we did is the 10 acres actually belongs to the county. King William County Public Schools donated that to the county. And we did extensive surveying and topographical studies. And what we found is that when you start digging within about 12 to 18 inches, you're hitting debris from the landfill, because all they had to do back when they closed it up was cover about 18 to 24 inches with some type of soil and walk away. We've worked with surveyors, we've worked with DEQ, we worked with VIPSA, and many minds tried to figure out some type of conceptual design that would work, even if we were able to only use an acre. But even just using an acre to try to relieve the backup and the demand of that site, the cost just precluded it. There was just no way that we could sink, $700,000 into adding an additional acre. One of the things that I have talked to Mr. Magnet about with VIPSA is the fact that the attendants need to be monitoring who is using that. Many times we have contractors from out of the county that are doing work, come in, drop it off, and head out. We don't catch them on the beef poll taxes. We don't, and then we take their debris. So I've asked Mr. Magnet that, he needs to have his attendants watching more to make sure that we are not just accepting debris that should not be dumped in our county. I would love to have another site. I have exhausted every avenue that I can in that area. I talked to VDOT about the road and the turn area, and there just have not been enough accidents that have been reported or documented to where they would consider doing any kind of adjustment to the turn lane. So I am open to any kind of suggestion. That's the site that I use, and I go at very distinct times so that I don't get stuck in that long line of traffic.
Right, right. How do you know how deep the trash is? I know you said you hit it under about 24 inches. So how deep does it go?
I would have no idea how far it goes. But the problem with that property is that the cap is not that large, but the rest of the terrain of that 10 acres is very hilly and
Oh,
swampy. It's not just flat level property.
okay.
So, you know, DEQ approved us being able to go in and do surface disturbance, but when it comes to anything else, that's not something that they're probably going to really want to see. Basically, it was, if you go in there and you're doing some surface disturbance, that's fine. Just make sure that you cover up everything, once you're completed. But if you're talking about, pylons and things like that, I'm just concerned that between the regulations and the cost for the construction, we couldn't afford it.
I see.
It seems obvious that at some point in the possibly near future, we're going to have to cut loose that place and just start looking for something else. You just can't sustain it.
Well, the VIPSA had come to us under the previous director wanting to use the far end of the county park. My concern with that is that is right there before you get to the 360/30 intersection. It's a dangerous area because you have all of those subdivisions dropping off right onto that road. And the last thing we need right next to our park or on our park is a refuse site. So that's not something that I really want to do. I tried very diligently to find some type of relief for that site and looked around at other property as well and have not been fortunate to be able to find anything. But if you know somebody that would love to give the county some property, I'm glad to talk to them.
You know, that Epworth site is not the safest place for access in and out of there either.
Fortunately, the traffic is not as bad, but it's scary trying to come out of there sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that site next to the high school is it's a disaster really already, and it's going to get worse. And it's really and I know VDOT loves to wait until things are so bad that there's terrible things are happening before they do anything about it. But I think we need to try to think of some way to figure something out. What I've been sitting here wondering, I know VIPSA operates like a home pickup service, like what King William Refuse and what County Waste offer. Can we have conversations with them about what types of programs there are, just to try to get some traffic out of that area, at least in the near term? If there's something that we can do to either encourage people to sign up for more at-home disposal, or get VIPSA active in that space up there. Maybe that's something to them that could justify it. I don't know how they operate it in the localities that they do, but I know for certain that they do in Newport News and in James City and in Williamsburg. So it's got to be some opportunity there for something. I think we got to start thinking of any and everything we can to try to keep something bad from happening at that site, because as we the last couple of meetings ago talking about all of the lots that are potentially up for building up there, it's going to reach critical mass. So I appreciate all the efforts so far, and I know you've worked really, really hard on it. So maybe we need to look at some other avenues outside of just either sprucing up that property or finding some other properties, and just look for other avenues just to try to relieve some pressure on that site.
How big of a site do we need? 1 acre? It's just going to be a transfer, correct? A transfer site?
Correct. Probably, I think that site alone is like 1.1 acre. I would say if we would be able, of course, the round entrance area, like at the other sites, is the better approach. And that's what we tried to fit into this site, but probably about 2 acres. But it would need to be primarily the frontage on a road that could handle the traffic. One of my concerns that I really started digging into this is because there is a major subdivision planned right on Kelly Lane. And when that starts going up, that could add an additional 300 or 400 homes to that area alone. And I would hate to think that they would be trying to utilize that recycling center and transfer center as well. So I will check into any kind of like home disposal or pickup. I'll talk to David Magnet tomorrow to see if there is anything that he can recommend. Just keep in mind that if we add sites or we do anything different with a site, that's the county's expenditure. VIPSA does not help us cover the cost of setting up new sites or renovating old ones.
All right, thank you so much. And I wasn't picking on you, Ms. Tessner. It's just I know y'all had looked at everything in there, but I was just thinking, like I said, as I was looking at it, and I worked downtown, used to work downtown, and I know the whole city of Richmond was, but like you said, I know that probably was real expensive but I thought, it's just laying those dumpsters, because we're not creating a landfill, we're not digging anything in it. But like you said, I guess the weight of those dumpsters and the traffic is just what's just not able to handle on top that surface, I guess. So thank you so much for everything you did on it. And I guess
One more topic, Mr. Chairman. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
sure.
Yeah, I don't think I missed it, but is there any update on the school audit?
I'm not sure. I guess we could ask Ms. Tessner, Ms. Journey.
Yeah, I can help you out with that. The forensic audit, we have not heard anything. We should hear something this week from that team. So once they have everything finalized, we will go ahead and schedule a joint meeting between the county board and the school board so that both boards are hearing the information at the same time.
Okay. Do you have you said you don't really have a date, but maybe this week or the next week?
We should hear something from them this week.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions from our board? Okay. Seeing none, it looks like we're at the end of our agenda. We'll move into item 12, the Board of Supervisors comments. And I'll start with District 5 this time because I started with 1 last time. So, Mr. Moran, how are you?
I'm better
Keeping
prepared,
notes now.
better prepared this time. It's hard to believe we've almost got a year, Mr. Garber and myself, a year under our belts. It's gone by fast, and wow, what challenges we've had thrown at us. I want to thank the fellow supervisors for keeping us in line, helping us through this. I especially want to thank the staff for everything they've done under immense pressure. Who would have ever written a sci-fi movie with this situation? I want to wish everyone that's listening on board tonight a truly a safe and prosperous 2021. Please buckle down. Things are getting worse, I'll say. Keep those masks on. Stay safe during the holiday season, and see everyone next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Mr. Garber?
I liked it better when Ed was quiet and didn't say anything. he pretty much touched bases with everything I have on my mind. Yeah, it's been a challenging year, and it's been a fast year, and we've had to do a lot of work this way. I'd like to reach out again to Ann Mitchell. I've been fortunate enough to work with her a year, and she's going to be greatly missed. And Happy New Year to everybody, like Ed said.
Thank you, Stuart. Next, Mr. Muskowski.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. As everybody's mentioned, what a year. This wraps up year 9 for me, year 9 for Mr. Greenwood as well. So we start out on our closing out our decade in service on this board starting next year. And I can recall a few years that have been as challenging, as stressful, as kind of all consuming as this one has been. We've been confronted with some real serious challenges this year. And I think now looking at hopefully having 2020 in the rearview mirror here soon, I think we are well positioned for a successful 2021. I want to commend Mr. Moran and Mr. Garber for wrapping up their first year. It has been, I can't tell you how refreshing to be able to come to these meetings, have productive conversations. We certainly have not agreed on all fronts. As usual, I've won some votes, I've lost some votes, but the lack of acrimony, the lack of just sheer animosity from one to another has been a welcome return to, I think, my first term on the board when I served with some honorable people, and I'm happy to have you two along as well. Of course, Mr. Hodges and Mr. Greenwood, who I've been happy to serve with throughout my term and their terms on this board. I'd be remiss, as challenging as 2020 has been for us and for me. Tonight, as those of you on social media may have seen, is my wife's birthday. And that's important to me, especially this year, because all the challenges that I've been confronted with, she has had to pivot to having a career that is now work from home, which is not something she's ever done. She's had to become a first grade teacher, a preschool classroom instructor, a childhood entertainment programmer, it's a school cafeteria staff, on and on every day. Nurse. That has allowed me to continue in my service on this board, and also to carry on operating my business through this time. So yeah, without her and her sacrifice and her ability to juggle and keep all those balls in the air, I don't know how I would do this. So happy birthday to my darling wife, and thanks to her for all the work that she's done this year. Happy New Year to everyone. And I am looking so forward to having 2020 and there she is, having 2020 in the rearview mirror and having a good 2021.
Thank you, Travis. Mr. Hodges.
What, from the 3rd district?
Yes, the 3rd district. Beautiful downtown.
I think, Travis, that your wife
still
is
look
probably
the
at home
same.
saying your 3 minutes was up, because she's probably ready for you to be home. Anyway, I hate to put it on a real sour note, but I'm gonna be honest. I was disappointed in the amount of tax that apparently was not collected when we were sitting here waiting to draw penalties, and we should have been out collecting. I fought for the folks that were double taxed and they got their money back. And I don't agree with being double taxed, but you should pay your fair share. And that's what I'm looking forward into whoever goes in to office. And we're going from here. COVID, you can't say a whole lot more about that. It's dangerous. I've got like 5 people that have died. I know I'm older than most of you, so, but they don't you say words, Stuart. But anyway,
I'm close. Okay.
But everybody have a happy New Year. Be safe out there, and see you in January.
You too.
Thank you, Bill. I guess it's my turn. I guess I'll wrap up this year. Said I was gonna try and hold it together. I had all this stuff written out, but anyway, I wished everybody Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a happy holidays. Previously, COVID has really thrown me for a loop. It's like you said, it's not nice. It's like hell. So I do not like working at home at all. I've been stuck here since March. It's lonely. I don't have a beautiful family like Travis and young ones and a nice wife, but I'm envious of you all. But it has been an honor for me to be the board chairman. And it has been an honor for me to work with all of you, staff, and the Board of Supervisors. Like Travis said, we've had a lot of obstacles to come. We have got a lot of work done, and that's what I want to emphasize. A lot of work done this year. Previous years, we just fought and never got anything done. It was like just tooth and nail. We couldn't get anything done. Bicker. But it's been an honor to work with you all, staff, Ms. Tazaneri, all the people that work at the county. Thank you all. Ann Mitchell, it has been a delight to work with you over all the years. Ms. Holter, Bobby, Olivia, all the staff that's with the county still and has left. We've had a lot of people leave. Mr. McRoberts, thank you for taking over for our county attorney position for the year. It's been an honor working with you. Chief Reeves, thank you for keeping up our fire department. And thank you for all the people that spoke with us that's going to run. I will put in that I will back Ms. Bancroft 100% because, and this is my personal time, this is not any inflection of anything on the Board of Supervisors. This is my opinion only. I will push as much as I can to get Ms. Bancroft in there. But thanks everybody, and I appreciate everything and everything everybody's done. So have a happy new year, and we will start back again next year and hopefully get a lot more done next year. We've got a lot of stuff, like Travis said, in the works. Hopefully we can get a lot of stuff straightened out and move forward, move this county into an even better position that we already have. And as Bill always said at his meetings, it is beautiful King William County. It always will be. And I'm glad I live here and my family's lived here for over 100 years. So I don't know if we don't have a closed session. I don't see anything on the agenda, no nominations or anything. Do we
So
want
before
to?
anybody says anything else, Mr. Chair, I move that we adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion made and properly seconded. Ms. Lawrence?
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mr. Miskowski?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Hey.
Mr.
I
Garber?
think we got enough votes in it
Aye.
already.
I think we're covered.
Greenwood?
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody. It's been.
Good night, everybody. Happy New Year.
Good night. Happy New Year.
See y'all later.
All right.
Thanks, Bobby. Thanks, Travis Wolf.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Don't forget, please.
Hey.
And now that we're out of the meeting, Miss Bancroft, you got my support also.
Happy birthday, Aaron.
It was a nice discussion for Saturday.